That was a section from one of my favorite pieces from a Rachmaninoff prelude in G minor. Well, I'm David Groninger here in Seattle, Washington, and playing the piano is a hobby of mine, and I noticed that when you really approach a hobby because you really enjoy doing it, you tend to spend a lot more attention you place on it, and you're really focused, you're really present when you're doing it. So I've discovered that when you're doing something that you're really present in, your observation powers seem to come up. And then not only in the hobby that you're doing, but then as soon as you go to work or do something else, your observation powers still seem to be fairly acute and fairly strong. So I tend to make a lot of observations about life and about what works, what doesn't work, in every area of life that I have. And I make notes about it and I speak about it. And every day I ask myself a question, what could I say in a 5-minute message that might help 5 million people? I write down the answers, I come up with ideas, and the one I have today is called has to do with self-development, self-growth, self-improvement. When I first took piano lessons as a kid, my music teacher was really into reading Napoleon Hill, who is, an author on self-improvement, on success. So she read these books about, success in a general nature, and a lot of what Napoleon Hill was trying to write was about success, for business success, because he wrote the book in the 1930s during the Depression, when people were having a difficult time. And so he wanted to give people fundamentals, principles that would apply to every area of life, but particularly to business or their job. Well, anyway, my piano teacher, discovered that these same principles could apply to how to play the piano or how to do anything. So she had a lot of these Napoleon Hill quotes up on the wall, and one of them, as I remember, was, "If it is to be, it is up to me." Anyway, so the title of this talk has to do with the underlying science behind self-development. And today, by the way, is Wednesday, December 30th, 2015. It's the day before New Year's Eve. Well, the science behind self-development, first of all, let me just tell you this. Self-development, self-improvement, self-empowerment, or self-actualization, sometimes people call it, is one of the most fascinating subjects, I think, that a person can study and learn and apply. Because learning about yourself, learning about how you can improve the relationship with you, how you can get along better with yourself, how you can be happier, healthier, live longer, be more flexible, be more adaptable, how you can maybe increase your IQ, increase your emotional IQ, and things like this. When you study you and you master you, you become better at no matter what else you happen to be doing. That's why I am a supporter and a promoter of any kind of system that helps self-improvement. But here's the talk I wanted to give just very shortly, just briefly. It's the difference between a system of self-improvement and the underlying science of self-improvement. You see, there are many systems for self-improvement. You can just go to the internet and look up, self-improvement companies, self-improvement philosophies, self-improvement authors or founders of self-improvement institutions or schools. And you'll find that there are many people involved in many systems. Each system has underlying principles, underlying the science of how to get better, that actually is common to most of these systems. The mistake people make is they get involved in some system. The first one that might be maybe is Christianity or some religion. They go to Sunday school and as they're a kid, and they learn certain principles of how to be successful in living. This is to teach me to do it now in life, because at some point in life my final alarm's going to go off. So I want to live my life now and not try to be too regretful that I didn't accomplish something when my final alarm goes off. Well, the system and the science underneath the system. Many people get started with some kind of a system, whether it be their religion, or maybe they're in high school and they play some kind of a sport, and there's a certain maybe sports hero that maybe wrote some books about the philosophy of success in sports, and so they follow that system. Maybe then they go to college and there's certain systems of self-improvement they learn in college or in their first job. Well, where you can get into a mistake is if you think that the system is the only one, because there are many systems for self-improvement, for self-betterment, many systems, but the underlying science below that supports self-improvement is very similar. So whatever system you choose, whether it's a religion, a philosophy, a particular set of psychological ideas, whatever thing you pick, identify the science underneath it, because that way, if somebody criticizes you because you're in some kind of a strange system, or maybe your system costs a lot of money, or maybe the founder of your system or the author that wrote the book that your system is based on maybe is found to be a crook, and now you don't want to do that system anymore. However, if you've identified the underlying principles, that is the science underneath it, you can find what principles actually are valid, even in the system that the author, who's now discreditable, or no longer credible, you can still stick with the things that do work. Furthermore, if you're involved in some kind of a system for success that maybe is very unpopular, and other people that you know are maybe, critical or doubtful about this particular system, again, if you have identified the science underneath this, then you know that it's not the system that's really making you accomplish what you want to do. That is, get better in life in some area or any area. It's the understanding the science underneath it. And so that way you won't get too attached to the system. That way if you see somebody else who's involved in some kind of a strange, something you've never heard of, that even seems kind of odd, and yet they feel like they're getting better in life, when you learn a little bit about this, and again seek to learn what is the science underneath it, you'll see that might be very common to your own science. Then also, when you discover a system that is very divorced from underlying sciences, that's kind of based on maybe the ego of the author who wrote the book, or the person in charge of the school or institute or whatever, you'll know that, hey, there are some people that, because they have a big ego and think they know it all, they think that they are the power and not the science underneath it. By knowing this, you won't get trapped and maybe spend too much money on some system that is, a little bit deviant from the science. Well, the science, I think one of the key things about the science is this: it has to be measurable. You have to have some type of measurable progress. Like if you're going to lose weight, you have to measure, I weigh 170 today, then 3 months from now I'm down to 163. Well, that's measurable, and what you're doing, it has some value. If there's some system where you can increase, have a healthier blood pressure by eating more of a certain food and less of another food, if some system is helping you do that, maybe you've learned about it from the Mayo Clinic or whatever, and your blood pressure is improving every year, it's getting more healthy or whatever. That's a way of measuring your progress. So the science underneath the system that you're using, it should be measurable. You should have a way of measuring what you're doing. And in addition to being measurable, one of the helpful things of having a system anyway is you meet other people who are doing it. It's helpful to have a system because it organizes the scientific laws about self-improvement. It organizes them so that you can learn them and study them a little bit better. And you'll meet people, you'll meet teachers, coaches, mentors, professors, authors who are working in a specific system that can help you make progress in that system. But still continue to learn, hey, what's the science underneath it? What are the principles underneath the system? One of the most important laws of self-development is this. Likely you're going to improve your relationship with yourself. So in any system where somebody is trying to get you to divorce your relationship with yourself and put all your allegiance to the guy who's running the show, well, this is kind of suspect, because anybody who's really teaching you about a system for success, I believe, is going to help you with your integrity. In other words, they're going to help you have a stronger relationship with yourself and a stronger relationship with the things in life that you value, with your values, not their values. A stronger relationship and a greater ability to express your life and express your values, not the values of the people or man or woman who's the author or speaker or teacher of your system. So that's part of the key of self-development, your relationship with you. Because as your relationship with you improves, your ability to understand your emotions, your mind, how you think, your ability to have self-control and to be aware of your behavior, your ability to change yourself, your ability to have compassion for you, your ability to get along with yourself, this relationship between you and you is going to have a positive impact on all your other relationships in life and everything else that you do. So just be aware of that, that any system that helps you build a better relationship with you is founded upon, I believe, a very realistic science of self-development. And any system that tends to try to get you to divorce yourself from you, to put your allegiance to some other person more than yourself, or to some, ideal or principle, whereby it might be weakening you, but you feel stronger because you're offering allegiance to some ideal. Even there, I would be maybe suspect in that. So again, in summary, let me just say this. Self-improvement, self-development, self-actualization, self-empowerment, self-awareness, learning about self, know thyself, being master of yourself, being a student of yourself, being a student of life, these things are so valuable. They'll help you make so much money if that's what you want. They will help you have so many friends if you want more friends. They'll help you learn to play a musical instrument. Self-development is a very, very valuable area of study and of action. And think of it in two parts. There's a system, a specific system where principles are applied, and it's valuable to be a part of a system, to join a system. You don't have to stay there. You can find other systems as you grow out of them and this. And don't be limited by the system. But the value is you're going to get a lot of support. You're going to meet a lot of other people you can team up with who you can help and they can help you. And you're going to meet teachers and people who have written the books and who have done a lot of research on their particular system. But while you're doing that, identify the science underneath it. What are the fundamental laws that are common to every system? This way, you won't get trapped into a system and think that, well, this is the only thing that works. Many systems work. Hundreds of systems work. But you understand what the underlying science is, and that is where you really, really master things. When you got both of them, you understand the underlying science and you're a part of some system where you're having the support, ongoing training. Well, that's my talk for today. This is David Groninger in Seattle, Washington, saying almost Happy New Year because tomorrow is December 31st. And thank you very much for taking the time to listen to my rambling. Thank you.